What's going on, boys?
Can you hear me now?
See, I got my Cubs W in the background there. You know, getting pumped up for baseball season. Can you hear me, Matt?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm in my other office and damn. Okay, here we go. What did you just say about the Cubs?
Yeah, no, I got my Cubs W. Getting ready for baseball season. You know, now that KU won the final. You
wanted Kansas, didn't you? Wasn't that your team?
I had KU all the way. It was
so you won. How much did you win?
An
undisclosed amount.
Yeah, multiples of multiples. I'm not going to retire on my winnings. It's more of the psychological than it is the actual financial.
Yeah, the last time that I won the pool, I guess you should say, it was. Yeah. I was delivering pizza for Woodstocks at Oregon State University. I was 21 years old. That was 33 years ago, baby.
Yeah, you've had a bit of a dry spell.
I picked Duke. You just always win with Duke.
That Duke North Carolina game on Saturday night was awesome. That was awesome. Great.
I was actually surprised at how well North Carolina played. I thought Duke was going to beat them, but North Carolina just said, "Nah, we're better than you. We can make all those shots too."
Yeah, no, I think Duke was just figuring, it's destiny. We're just going to go and win it all for Coach K. But you got to play the game. But the KU comeback on Monday night was amazing.
They were down 16 or 17.
16. Yeah. Yep. No.
What's up, boys? Can you hear me?
We're just wondering if Lumber can have that kind of comeback, in 2020 and 2022. Being down.
Matt, can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear everybody just fine.
Right. What's that rap song? Don't call it a comeback.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm old.
So, Greg and I talked a little bit before the show about some things to talk about. First of all,
are we live?
Yeah, we're live. Welcome to this week in lumber with Matt Beamer from Hampton Lumber Sales and Greg Riley from Sitka USA, where we're streaming live in 57 different languages across YouTube and LinkedIn.
Are you going to get this person signing next to you soon, Ash? You need like a person up in the corner signing.
Yeah, I think so. We're waiting for government money to do that. Once we get government money, we'll have a signer and then 75 other people in the background doing stuff that looks like frontier gibberish, but it'll at least be spending other people's money on other people.
Hey, we have somebody from Latvia on our show today. Look at that.
That's awesome.
Hello, free. Latvia. Latvia is in the house.
Keep Latvia free.
Yeah. So just getting into things, had a little dinner last night with one of the guys that watches the show. If Sean's out there, hey, Sean, thanks for dinner last night. Great time. Said that he watches our show, loves listening to Matt and Greg. I'm getting a lot of feedback that people listen. Greg, a guy listens to it simulcast in his car on the way home sometimes.
Yeah, he said he thought that we had like really great faces for radio.
Exactly.
And everything today. I won't get too close to the camera. Hey, so look at crazy market out there right now. I think what's up? Well, look at we were talking about a few different things. There's a big disconnect when you talk to a mill today versus talking to everybody else, basically. If it's a lot of the people, some of the mills, I'm not picking on any in particular, don't think that this market is rolled over yet at all. Greg, I'll let you start out there. Maybe we can start there and work our way back.
Yeah,
so I guess we want to talk about the pluses and the minuses in the market, because there are both.
Well, I mean, there is a disconnect in that current business and the most recent business in the field has been very, very good. And, you know, like everyone ends up being kind of a product of what's happened to them most recently. And so most recently, everyone's had to deal with late shipments, you know, out of stock and high prices. And so that's the environment that there's a lot of the field is still in. I mean, listen, you know, they came out today. Mortgage applications are down 40% from a year ago. Mortgage rates up over 5%. You know, Ash, I know I sent you that graph on, you know, houses that are under construction. And, you know, when we look, the number of houses that are under construction right now is greater than it was when we peaked in 05, 06 at over 2 million housing starts. There's more houses under construction now. At some point, whether it's a week from now, a month from now, 2 months from now, probably that in that range, the big builders, the national builders, are all going to dramatically slow their new starts and focus on finishing and closing and on the existing houses they have under construction for their year ends in September. You know, that's going to call housing starts. You know, you're going to see a 15 to 20% drop in housing starts somewhere in the next 3 months.
You heard it here first.
I think that jibes well with, you know, what they've been saying since Thanksgiving. They wanted to hit the ground running starting January 1st, and that the last time I asked that question was about 2 weeks ago to one of the big builders, and they said, "Hey, we're full steam ahead for this foreseeable future, but you got to figure by June 30th. I mean, they're going to be change their tune because they'll have accomplished what they really wanted to accomplish to start the year, which was get as many houses started in the first 6 months as possible. That was always the plan, right? And so we're in the middle of that right now. We're just looking at some information now with futures being a big discount and the market rolling over, I guess, even though Ashley knows some people that don't think that's true. That is actually true. We have rolled over. I mean, mills are accepting counter offers that are $100, $200 below what their asking price is. That's kind of the definition of rolling over.
Yeah, no, I mean, look at it being a little bit facetious there, but it seems like, Greg, we were talking, mills are still behind on shipment, right? On some things.
Yeah. You know, I still, you know, there again, there's a disconnect. I've got mills that say have prompt wood available. And I'm talking in the East. Matt, you can kind of, you know, go through the West, but, you know, in the East, I got mills that have prompt wood available. I got mills that I bought cars from, you know, 2 weeks ago that I got, you know, or last week that I got car numbers on this week. But then I hear that there's other mills that are still have shipments from February and March that they haven't shipped. I did talk to someone today that just said, we're going to cancel all of our April contracts because that's the only way they're ever going to get caught up is to have April to ship all of the February, March stuff. And, you know, so what does that do? I've made the statement that there's two things. If everybody wants, here it is right here. This is why people pay big bucks to be on the show, Matt. Here's the two things you need to look for, and then you'll know it's safe to come out of the basement and buy the market. One is that the mills are all caught up and have prompt wood available. The majority of mills, not, you know, the vast majority, that they all their late shipments have shipped and they have prompt wood available. The other is that futures is a premium to the cash market. Now I'm expecting a pretty good futures rally coming in short to intermediate term, whether that's tomorrow or a week from Tuesday. I think $150 to $200 rally in futures, but I think that's a cash. The cash market's going to continue to go down when that happens. That's what I'm expecting.
Bold statement there, Cotton.
Hey, I'm not here to just pussy put around, Matt. I'm here to lay it all out there.
I like the discount on the board. It invites buyers. It invites activity. After a while, it wears on you if you're a sawmill and you're staring at empty cars outside that you haven't sold, right? But I mean, if you're a trader or if you're a retail lumber buyer, hey, here's your get out of jail free card. You can buy lumber for $500, $1,000 less than what you could have bought it for, 3 weeks ago or a month ago. And we all have been waiting for this moment to be able to buy some new lumber at lower prices. We've talked about this. I mean, did I really want to go into April, May, and June with a whole bunch of 2x4 number 3 that I costed at $1,350 delivered Texas? That's the highest price of all time. Do I want to roll the dice and buy 50 cars and just send them down to inventory at those levels? No, I don't. Well, I guess what? I don't have to now. This is great. Makes me feel a lot better that I have a new buying decision, and that new buying decision is going to be a 3-digit number instead of a 4-digit number. Fine. Excellent. Thank you.
What's it like at Western U.S. mills right now in terms of shipping files and dressed inventories?
Inventories at our mills, I can speak for us, are maybe marginally higher than they have been, but not really. I mean, we have had long order files all the way through this thing, and the main reason why we would even have inventory stacked up at a sawmill is logistics. It's just has nothing to do with our order file. It's all about, can we get empty rail cars from the BN or the UP? Can we get truckers to show up and pick up the loads?
How is BN and UP shipping?
BN is a problem. BN has had a labor issue all year long. Their management versus the workers, and we've talked about on this show. I've accused the BN of having what I call a walking strike for basically the whole year, because the management has been trying to implement this new point strategy for people that refuse to work overtime. And, the workers don't want it. So they voted twice to strike that I'm aware of. I have mills that are serviced by the BN in Oregon and Washington that refuse to ship because they're getting like 1 or 2 cars a week when they're ordering 12. I've had to reship lumber from one reload to another just to get it on the UP, if I can do that, just to get it out. So domestically, the BN isn't really our friend right now in the West. The UP's done a hell of a job. I give them a lot of credit for picking up the slack, at least with us. Mm-hmm. And then if you look at BC, I think the known big boys, the big 3, Fraser, Toko, Canfor, have all had various different problems with rail and trucking. They're working through that right now. I think they're starting to see like the end of the tunnel in terms of rail and truck disruptions, but they still have a long way to go. I just got a call from one of the big 3 there asking me to switch a couple cars over to 8 trucks. So at least they're still trying to work through that. But I think at Babine and Decker, our mills, we've been getting good rail car service the whole time for whatever reason.
That's the thing I see in the East is there's such a disconnect. I mean, there's some mills that are just in terrible shape, and say they're been getting 30 to 40% of their cars for like the last 6-8 weeks, and then like I say, that there's other mills that are doing just fine. So it's I mean, hey man, I think that's just the way it is everywhere. Think about how much lumber's been bought and sold here in the last 90 days. It's quite a bit, I mean, and we're still unwinding like I got problems with the ports right now. Those haven't gone away. Ashley, has your job gotten any easier the last 2 weeks finding trucks?
I've been spending the last 2 weeks trying to get stuff out of the ports in the Northeast, in the Southeast, and getting appointments and making sure truckers are going in. It's
a nightmare.
I'm generally pretty positive about things, but these are a few things that have made me throw stuff against the wall recently.
Yeah.
Well, Ash, you and I talked about this. I always say is like, hey, there's no shortage. You just gotta raise the price. And I basically gave our people, green light. Just said, hey, you find the price that moves loads, and you go and hit it. Some of the prices have been outrageous, but as I indicated to you, we're all completely caught up on shipping. Now I have people beating down my door looking for loads. Maybe we overpaid, but that's okay. Our challenge now is how do we keep the supply of trucks and work the rates back down to something that's reasonable, because some of the rates, they're not sustainable to be able to be from the logistics standpoint.
Right.
Competitive.
Well, it also adds a layer of risk that you and I don't have to take. So I have choices. I don't have to go buy more euro for May or June. If I can, even if it's a great deal, if it's going to be such a pain in my ass to move all these loads around, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say, hey, you know what? I got better things to do with my time. Like, I'm going to go on vacation with my kids. I'd rather do that.
Yeah, no, right on. So that kind of sums so trucking. Are the rates coming down now, Greg, from your hauls?
No, I can't say that I've seen rates reduce. They've elevated it, and now what I'm trying to do is figure out, okay, on this lane, is that a sustainable price? I mean, one of the things I think I've talked about is, we've expanded our number of shipping locations so that we can have more wood closer to end users, because the big thing that I'm seeing is the local delivery is not an issue. Like in this day and age, the drivers all want to be home at night. It's the long haul guys that's where the price increases are most dramatic, and there's the biggest issue with capacity.
No, exactly. One thing I want to touch on, but I've noticed on the platform in the last few weeks, especially the last few days, Southern Pine Mills that had nothing before have multiple listings up here and want to know where the bids are now, right? Basically weren't showing anything 3 weeks ago, but all of a sudden now multiple trucks are being offered 2x4, 2x6, 2x2, 2x10, and are looking for the bids. Well, I mean, I would guess that's probably, Southern Pine kind of kicked this thing off, right? The downside of this, where it just came off in handles, right? 4-inch, and it's continuing to, but also lowest cost of production. So, Greg, you always say this, if somebody can still sell the rest of the year's production at these numbers, they're probably pretty good numbers, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, as I've said for a while, I mean, 4-digit numbers are not long-term sustainable. Any slowdown in end-use consumption, and it's just a question of when we go back to the cost of production, and/or in keeping with lumber is as high as we went. We're probably going to go below the cost of production before we finally bottom out in price. And I mean, it's always a question of timing. I did want to bring one thing that I saw that is probably a positive and is a counterbalance to the slowdown coming from the big builders is multifamily. Looks like that's going to stay pretty solid. The reality is rents are rising, so that's making multifamily apartments the return more attractive. And so I think, and we still need places for people to live. That's not going to change. But like right now, the rent to own balance is in favor. It's in favor in a lot of markets. It's cheaper to rent than it is to own. When we think back to the housing crisis, where it was crazy because it was so much cheaper to own than to rent.
Yeah, I mean, that's a positive. But what are the positives we're seeing out there, Matt? I mean, one thing talking to a couple people in Texas the other day, they're running their inventories down again. So when they get below a certain amount of days, let's say 45 days, some of those yards are running on fumes again, and they need to buy again, right? Now they do have stuff coming in, no question about it. But I kind of feel there could be another short-term buy coming up here in the next few weeks. Am I wrong on that?
No, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I think we're all running on pretty low inventory right now, and we're in the process of moving the inventory from the mills to the field, which is what Greg's alluding to. When the mills finally catch up with their order file, then we'll have reached that point where, okay, we've satisfied the previous demand that was already in the market, that was bought already, and now it's shipped. But here, I'll tell you, Matt Beamer, I run a significant business down there, and I have virtually nothing. I mean, people are calling me going, hey, can you quote this truck, or can you quote these trucks? I'm like, no, I won't have it for a month. I won't have it for 3 weeks. I won't have it for 2 weeks. I don't have it. So I'm selling cars. I'm selling a lot of cars this week. I guess that's a positive. But normally I'd be selling a lot of trucks too. I just don't have the material. And that's by design. I was going to be gone half of March. I had family vacations. I had college tours with my daughter. I went on a business trip down to Texas for a week. So I knew in March I was going to be not on the phones all the time, working my inventory. And I deliberately ran my inventory down because of that. And now I need to buy lumber. I could go out and buy 50, 60 cars right now today if the price was right and I felt like that was the mood I was in. I could easily do that. And I'm just one guy. What about the other 50 guys that are down there in Texas that buy inventory? Yeah, I'm sure that there's plenty of wood to be bought here. It's just a matter of people seeing a reason to step in. And we haven't seen that yet.
Where is the market? Let's just start. Where's the 4-inch market right now? 4-inch Western spruce market relative to like the print price and all that. Where is it?
I mean, I've been getting orders up until, as of yesterday. I haven't sold any yet today, but yesterday I was selling an 1100 mil, and the board was at 960 or 950, and then it went down limit today. So, I don't know. The cash price today probably not going to be 1100. Maybe it dropped another 50 or 100 overnight. I don't have any data to give you as of today. I did sell some number 3 today, however, at 1100 or 11 and a quarter Texas, which is like 1,000 Prince George. So there's what number 3 will trade for today.
Yeah, Greg, how about some of the items that you trade, like 104 and 5/8 that kind of touched the tips at a 1400? Where is that adjusted over the last few weeks?
I mean, honestly, Ash, one of the things that I've really struggled with here in the last couple of days is putting my finger on where the real trading level is on some stuff. And I mean, 9-footers, are trading in delivered East Coast market somewhere, in the 1100s to low 1200s delivered. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking at forward business, there's a discount to that. The big thing I see is there's $100 or $200 disconnect between wood that can deliver in, let's just say, a week to 10 days, and wood that's 3 or 4 weeks out.
Makes sense. So you were talking about multifamily. You and Matt sell a lot into that long-term market. What are people coming looking for long-term pricing right now? Are they kicking tires? Are they looking? Are they just kind of circling the wagons?
The inquiry to quote jobs for June, July, August start is as high as I ever get it. Not that many pulling the trigger yet, but a lot circling the wagons.
How about you, Matt? Because you live in that world quite a bit also.
I think the $1,000 delivered price point is a significant one for a lot of those guys. So once you get at that level or below on 9-footers or plate, they perk up.
I agree with Matt. I think when you can go and give long-term pricing with 3 digits, the floodgates will open and to place that business, and that's going to be supportive to the market.
Are you guys out giving long-term pricing with 3 digits on it yet?
No,
I'm not there yet.
I mean, like if you want to tie it to the futures
if we're
board,
down a limit a couple more days, and I'll certainly be there.
yeah, I mean, the only way you can really do any of that right now is to forward sell the May contract or the July contract. And yeah, you can do that. I mean, you can do that if you want to structure it that way. But if a guy called me and said, "Hey, Beamer, I want you to sell me 25 cars of 2x4 at $990 delivered and ship it July, August, September as a cash transaction," I don't know that I would do that yet. I mean, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. To me, it seems awful risky based on where we've been the last 4 months.
You can buy July and then make that happen. I mean,
I'm talking about like in a world where futures didn't exist. Okay, like in this imaginary playground that we're living in here.
Yeah.
If I wasn't doing forward sales, if it was just a guy wanting me to just go out and stake my reputation on taking a bunch of forward sold business as cash transactions, and
that's called short selling.
Yeah, short selling.
Those are all the guys that Ashley and I used to compete against when we used to tell people, it's like, hey, if someone short sells you, that's not the same as forward pricing, because when it doesn't work out, you don't get the wood.
Yeah, we know all about that. But yeah, no, I just think that, hey, sub 1,000, that's critical, and that's the area that these big multifamily guys really get excited about, honestly, because that's kind of where their budgets are. I mean, I think they've been forced to pay above budget for several times in the last 2 years, and so whenever it goes below budget, they're like, "Yay, great, this is cool." It's like, I just got to get out of jail free card. I like it.
No, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. You get the numbers, delivered for all this multifamily jobs, under $1,000, and there's a lot of business out there. A lot of business. Matt,
what's the hat say on it? What's your emblem on your hat?
It's the TPC Scottsdale.
Oh, nice stadium.
That's where they play the Waste Management Open in Phoenix. That's I went over there and I was near there on spring break. We were in the region, and so I went over there and bought some swag. I didn't get to play it though, unfortunately. I was too busy going to Sedona with the kids.
How the college visits go? You want to go back to college, Matt?
No, I'm going to Gonzaga tomorrow. I'm flying up to Spokane with my daughter, and we're gonna. I think that's the last one, and then we got to decide where to send her. You know what they charge per year?
Are you guys you're not going to go to Kansas then, huh?
Oh, Gonzaga. Let me guess. Gonzaga per year, $70,000.
Yep, $70,000.
Okay,
that's
insane. That's on Google, man. That's just a pure guess.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. You know what I paid for tuition at Oregon State my first term? We had a trimester system, so
$1,200,
$491 tuition in state, $491 for a trimester, and my room and board was $3,000 for the term, and I paid like 7 times as much for my room and board as I did for tuition.
That's like 10 limit moves on one contract of futures, Matt. So you could pay for that in a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, I don't even know. I told her she's better start saving her money because I'm not paying for it.
Well, listen, guys, great one. We had over 50 people today watching on one of them. I don't know on YouTube. We'll check it out, but send you the link on it. Appreciate it. We'll get back together next week. Again, Matt Beamer, Hampton Lumber Sales, Greg Riley, Sitka USA. Thanks for showing up to This Week in Lumber, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks.